Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are in the topic the characteristics of the living organisms. So, we understanding the characteristics that define the living organisms is a fundamental to the study of biology. All the living organisms from the simplest bacteria to the most complex plants and animals which share certain fundamental characteristics that define the life. So these characteristics help to exhibit the several key characteristics that distinguish them from the non-living entities. So let me know about the characteristics of the living things. So the biologists have formulated a list of the characteristics by which we can recognize the living things from the non-living things. Only when something has all of them can it then be considered as living. The characteristics of the living things or living organisms are, the first one is which are made up of units called cells, and the second one is reproduction. Third one is based on the universal genetic code. Then fourth one is growth and development. Fifth, obtain and use the materials and the energy. And the sixth one is respond to the environment. Seventh one is maintain a stable internal environment, and eighth one is taken as a group change over a time. Let me know these characteristics in detailed way. So the first one is living things are made up of cells. So this is cellular organization. All the living organisms are composed of one or more cells which are considered the basic units of life. So cells can be a prokaryotic, that is lacking a defined nucleus like bacteria, or the eukaryotic, that with a defined nucleus like plants and animals. So prokaryotic cell means these are lacking a defined nucleus, and eukaryotic means with a defined nucleus, and unicellular means the organism is made up of only one cell or the single cell. Multicellular means the organisms which are made up of many cells. Second characteristics is living things or reproduce. So reproduction is a main character, that living organisms have ability to reproduce either sexually, that involving the combination of genetic material from the two parents, or asexually, that is a single organism which reproducing without the involvement of the another. So this ensures the continuation of their species. Third characteristic is living things are based on a universal genetic code. So genetic code means that it is based on a universal genetic code, that is DNA, that determines the inherited characteristics of the every organisms on earth, which genetic information is passed from one generation to the next through the DNA. So this genetic material determines the characteristics of the organisms and allows for the traits to be inherited. Living things growth and development. So organisms growth and development following a specific instruction that encoded in their DNA. Growth refers to an increase in size and mass, while the development refers to the changes in the organism structure and functions over time. Living things obtain and use the energy. So obtain and use materials and energy, they need these to just to stay alive. So need the constant supply of energy and metabolism. So living organisms carry out various biochemical reactions to the maintain life, so which includes converting nutrients into energy and building materials for growth and repairment. So these processes are collectively known as metabolism and include both anabolic and the catabolic. Means anabolic means building up and catabolic means breaking down pathways. Next characteristic is living things which respond to their environment. That respond to their environment is called stimuli. So the living organisms can sense and respond to changes in their environment. This can include a movement or changes in metabolism or the behavioral responses that allowing them to adapt and survive in a varying conditions. So organisms detect and respond to stimuli in their environment. Stimuli means a signal to which an organism respond, which can be a external or can be a internal. The next characteristic of the living things which maintain a stable internal environment. Uh, Organisms maintain a stable internal environment despite changes in the external conditions. So, this regulation involves the various physiological processes that balance the inputs and outputs to keep the internal conditions. So, this is called a homeostasis. And the process to do this is known as homeostasis, that often involves the internal feedback mechanisms. And the next characteristic of the living thing is change over a time, that is evolution. So the populations of the organisms evolve over time through changes in their genetic makeup. So these adaptation enhance their survival and reproductive success in their specific environments. So taken as a group, organisms change over time. These changes are small at any one time, but over long periods of time can be a significant. As shown in the diagram, the mobile which changes over time to time. So this cannot happen spontaneously, which takes very time to change in their structure, functions, everything. So evolve means to change over time, or evolution is the gradual accumulation of the adaptations over time. So that help a group of organisms can survive and be able to produce a new offspring, that to demonstrate the best combination of adaptations, that is survival of the fittest. This is the levels of organization of the organisms. So living organisms are organized into a hierarchical structure with each level representing increasing the complexity. The first one is molecular level, that includes atoms and the molecules, the chemical building blocks of life, so such as proteins, lipids, carbohydrates and the nucleic acids. And next one is cellular level, the basic unit of life. The cells are the basic unit of life. Though so cells can be a prokaryotic or the eukaryotic, and all the cells combine to form a tissues. So the group of similar cells performing a specific function, that is tissue level. That primary tissue types include the epithelial, connective, muscle and the nervous tissues. Then organ level, structures that composed of a different tissues working together to perform a specific functions, like the heart, lungs and brain. Then organ system levels, that groups of organs that work together to perform complex functions such as digestive system, respiratory, circulatory and the nervous system. The next level is organism level, so an individual living entity that can carry out all the basic life processes such as a bacterium, plant or animal. So the next population level, that groups of organisms of the same species living and interacting in the same area. Then the community level, that is a different population of various species living and interacting in a specific area. Ecosystem level, community of the living organisms that interacting with their physical environment, that including a biotic and abiotic factors. The last level is biosphere level, the global ecological system that integrating the all living beings and their relationships, encompassing all the ecosystems on the earth. So this hierarchical organization allows for the specialization and the efficiency, that enabling the organisms to survive, grow and reproduction and adapt to their environments. Both the plants and animals are the living things. They have the cells. So cells are the smallest functional units of living organisms, and they make up the every part of organism bodies. As they both are living things, but at first glance they seem very different, because animals tend to move around while a plant stay rooted in one place. And aside from the plants and animals, there are other organisms which can be useful or the harmful. These groups are fungi, algae, and the bacteria. So they don't have real roots, stem, roots, and leaves. They only possess root-like structures. So stem-like structure, fruit-like structure, and leaf-like structures. These are microbes. So, an organism is a living thing that ingests and break down food for energy and nutrient, that excretes ingested food as waste and is capable of the reproduction. And microorganisms are very small organisms that live around us and inside our body also. These are very microscopic, so we cannot see them by our naked eyes. So some microorganisms are pathogenic and some are non-pathogenic in our environment. They are algae that are unicellular or multicellular plant-like protists that can make their own food. So they are the autotrophs. And the bacteria, these are unicellular organisms that are used in making fermented products such as decomposers, and may cause the diseases. Then fungi, this is a big group of organisms that have plant-like characteristics but cannot make their own food, which dependent food for the others. Then lichen is a combination of the fungi and algae. The mushroom, a type of fungus that cannot make its own food, that can be used as food and act as a decomposer, and some may cause the diseases also. Protist, these are the big group of organisms that having a characteristics of both the plant and animals. Then spores, these are seed like structure that mostly fungi and some algae used in the reproducing their kind. So this is all about the living characteristics of plants, animals and microbes. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you all. Thank you.